to JohnnyDsTV. We're here today with Eugene Chadbourne, a musician of all genres, a songwriter, a producer, and musical instrument inventor, and a pioneer of boundary-breaking music. I'm going to get to know him a little bit better before his set later tonight. First off, I want to ask you, where do you find inspiration? You know, you hear a lot of musicians talk about how they hear music in their head and they try to recreate it. Is this how you're inspired, or is it something a little different?
I can definitely relate to that. I play music that I would like to listen to, and no one else does it quite that way. So I'm kind of doing it for myself primarily. Is the first part of the audience. The inspiration comes from a lot of things. Sometimes it's other music, but more often it's things that people don't perceive as music necessarily. Sometimes people ask me who my biggest influences are, and if I say Bugs Bunny and Boris Karloff, they think I'm joking, but it's serious. So I see things and I think of them in musical terms, and it's a kind of a weird transition, but it makes sense to me.
Your piano, nobody can play. Not enough time left in the day. So the strings are rusty, the keys were dirty gray. On the old piano, nobody can play. Be your love that's missing its feeling. Worn out from kneeling. The old kisses so revealing. The old love that's lost its feeling. The old piano nobody can play.
Who's gonna cook the corn on the cob
For the generals in the Pentagon?
Who's gonna put the green
Back in the White House lawn. When the ants and the cockroaches rule a kingdom down the drain, they can make it rain bombs, but they can't make it rain.
You're known for performing solo, but you have played in several bands and with dozens and dozens of established musicians. What are the advantages, and if there are any, what are the disadvantages of performing with a group?
The advantage for me for playing solo is I really like playing solo. I have total freedom. I can do what I want, and I not only play a wide range of a lot of different types of material. Some of the way I play is kind of eccentric, so it's not the easiest thing for other musicians sometimes to pick up on all the time. At the same time, though, I have played with all kinds of different musicians, many different styles. I think it's hard to find musicians that work with as many different age group of musicians or different types of musicians. Mm-hmm. So I do like working with other musicians. They're my favorite, people, really, other musicians. The disadvantage solo is you don't have that camaraderie. You don't have someone to turn to and talk to about what you did. You just have yourself.
Right, kind of share the stage presence.
And I think for all depending on the instrument, a solo performance can be something like when people started doing solo saxophone concerts. For a lot of people, that was mind-blowing. They couldn't conceive of, like, oh, how can you just play with a saxophone? And the guitar is not that type of instrument. People are used to people playing solo, so I don't have to kind of battle that concept. That people are, they're ready to hear someone just accompany themselves.
Right,
on the guitar
with the melody and harmony,
yeah,
kind of.
never out of stock. Every tavern has an infinite supply. It's never the same bartender, always the same bottle. For broken-hearted losers who got a drink to keep from crying. This brand of booze called loser, but you don't have to advertise. No matter how to serve it up, it brings tears to your eyes. Throw me out here on my face, I'll just go some other place. Perhaps I'll drive across the state line. I'm the legal age for heartache, wherever I may roam. From Johnny D's in Somerset to the Nightshade Greensboro. This brand of booze called loser.
Rock used to be something that was so associated with young people. But now some of the best rock musicians are, you know, walk with canes and are very elderly. And like, I think if you were young playing rock, you have such a history to absorb. It's like jazz was when I was starting out. It was as different than rock. I mean, when I started playing rock, there had been rock for a couple of decades, but it wasn't. It was still something that was really associated with young people, and you didn't have these famous bands touring around that were as old as the jazz musicians. Jazz seemed like a music that had so much history to it that it was intimidating. So,
Right.
And I don't really know necessarily. Maybe it's rap. I don't know. There's new things come along that don't have a history. There's sort of an appeal to that when something is so fresh that, you know, you can break all the rules you want and stuff. But sort of, and now you have this. You have this thing with the radio where it's back to the way it used to be in the 50s, before rock, where they're not playing anything interesting at all, and they're only just repeating a few songs over and over again, and nobody really listens to it.
Yeah, it's kind of a formula, and then,
Yeah.
you know, the DJs follow it. Yeah.
What Shockabilly was sort of looked weird, etc., but mainly, you know, what we were known for was mixing together country and western with different types of music, mixing avant-garde improvisation into psychedelic music. Just, you never quite knew what was going to happen. It was very extreme sometimes. Working with the idea of a rock band and then what you can do in that format. And I think what's changed over the years is it's, to the listener as well as to the musician, the idea of mixing together these different genres like this is not considered really weird anymore.
Right.
Like it was at the time. When I used to talk to, even trying to describe what Shockabilly did, like to a booker or someone at a music festival, they just rejected the idea outright. Like, you can't, you know, you're not going to do that, or we don't like that, or don't play country in here, and what are you doing? But yeah, now bands mix all kinds of stuff together all the time, and they like it. It's sort of not considered something you're not supposed to do.
Well, we're really looking forward to your set later tonight. You know,
Great, I'm looking forward to
personally,
seeing your production on YouTube.
Very excited. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and you know, we want to thank you for stopping by Johnny D's again. You know, we love having you.
This is a great place. I always enjoy coming back here.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is JohnnyDsTV signing off.
Nice, man.